You know that feeling? Like the world is on constant high alert. How are we supposed to deal with all that anxiety? Well, today we're going to dig into a really surprising, kind of counterintuitive way to think about that exact problem.
I mean, think about it. We get endless news alerts about wars, climate change, pandemics. It just feels like we're living in an age of nonstop warnings. And all that noise, it just amps up this collective anxiety about what's around the corner.
There's this sense of dread that just kind of hangs in the air, you know? This feeling that we're on the edge of something. And it leaves you wondering, okay, what's really coming? And what am I even supposed to do about it?
So that's the big question, isn't it? In a world that feels like it's always on the brink, how do we actually live? How are we supposed to find any kind of purpose or stability when everything feels so shaky?
Well, one answer comes from a place you might not expect, a Christian sermon that has this really surprising idea. It basically suggests we need to completely rethink what a warning even is.
So the whole thing centers on this passage from the Bible. But here's the twist. The message isn't about trying to predict the future or feed into our fears. Actually, it's the opposite. It says the specific when is totally irrelevant.
And that right there is the big switch. The warning isn't meant to make us obsess over some date on a calendar. No, it's a call to shift our entire focus away from guessing about the future and toward living with purpose, right here, right now. Okay, to really get this, let's think about warnings we see every single day. Take your alarm clock. Its job isn't to scare you awake, right? It's just there to wake you up so you don't miss something important.
Or, that really important notification that pops up on your phone. It's not there to make you panic. It's designed to grab your attention and say, hey, pay attention to this right now. It's a call to be present.
Or what about a warning light on your car's dashboard? It's not a sign that your car is about to explode. It's a signal. It's telling you, hey, do something now. Get an oil change. Check the engine so you're safe later on.
So the whole point of the sermon is that a spiritual warning works the exact same way. It's not a scare tactic. It's more like a divine alert that's just trying to keep us awake, aware, and ready to live a life that actually means something.
Okay, so if the goal is to be awake instead of anxious, what does that actually look like in real life? Well, the source material lays out 4 key principles for living this kind of prepared life.
All right, so it breaks down into 4 main ideas. Don't get complacent, know who you are, live with discipline, and encourage each other. And when you put them all together, they create this really clear path from freaking out to living with a purpose. First up, don't be complacent. This is a warning against getting spiritually lazy or numb. And here's the paradox. The most dangerous time isn't in the middle of a crisis. It's when everything seems totally normal.
The sermon makes the point that this false feeling of peace and safety is when we let our guard down. The source actually compares it to the story of Noah, where everyone was just eating, drinking, and going about their lives totally oblivious to what was happening. Complacency, it argues, is the real enemy.
All right, principle number 2 is all about identity. And this one's huge, because who you believe you are fundamentally changes how you react to, well, everything.
The teaching here is to see yourself as a child of the light. Now, what that really means is making a conscious choice to live with hope and purpose instead of getting sucked into the darkness of fear and confusion. Your identity, it becomes your anchor in the storm. So once you've got your identity sorted, principle number 3 comes in, and it's this. Being prepared isn't something you just are, it's something you do. It takes active, consistent effort. And this is a really important distinction. Being spiritually awake is not the same as being anxious or on edge. It's about discipline. Think of a soldier on watch. They're not panicked. They're calm, focused, and ready. It's about building those daily habits that keep you spiritually fit.
And the last one, and this is so important, is that you're not supposed to do any of this alone. The 4th principle is all about community. It's essential.
The sermon uses this fantastic analogy. Picture a group of people sitting around a campfire in the middle of a dark wilderness. That fire gives you light, warmth, and protection. But what happens if someone wanders off by themselves into the dark? They become completely vulnerable. Community, it says, is that campfire.
So let's put it all together. When you have these 4 things, not being complacent, knowing who you are, living with discipline, and staying in community, what you get is a clear roadmap that takes you from panic to purpose. At the end of the day, this whole framework isn't about getting some secret inside scoop on the future. It's about becoming fully aware of the things we already know deep down, and then actually turning that awareness into action every single day.
And that kind of leaves us with a question to chew on, right? No matter what you believe, in a world that's just filled with warnings, how can you personally shift your own focus from fearing what you can't control to purposefully building a strong, meaningful life today?